Welcome back to the Two Tone Podcast, episode number 29. If you are not subscribed to the podcast and you made it this far, what are you doing with your life, man? Subscribe to the podcast. We appreciate it. It's a free way to show us you appreciate what we're doing. But on to other things. Alongside me, as always,
Theo,
how you doing?
I'm doing living life.
Hell yeah. And special guest,
Same.
my fiance. How's it going, Bean?
It's going. Been working hard, paying bills, being broke as soon as I get paid.
Welcome to Adulting.
Mm.
It's a great time. It's couldn't recommend it enough, honestly. No, just kidding. But anyways, what y'all been up to creatively? Y'all been doing anything interesting?
I just got the supplies to make the Hello Kitty work shirts for my coworkers. Shouts out to my coworkers. They watch the pod. Hey.
Hell yeah.
Shout
Yeah,
out
Ron.
Hope. She subscribed.
Appreciate you. I appreciate it so much, honestly. What you been up to, T? You been working on Spiff Diff and Kush recently?
Yeah, been changing some stuff around, fixing what needed to be fixed and stuff.
Oh yeah, I must say, I honestly had forgot that I sent you a couple notes until I was setting up this morning, or this afternoon rather, and opened up my notes for the podcast, and then my notes for the script right there. But it's been going all right.
Yeah.
You've been figuring it out so far.
So far, yeah.
Hell yeah. So with Spiff Diff and Kush, do you have a timeline that you want to make it, or do you want to out by a certain time, or is it just kind of whenever is cool? But
I'm planning on having it or start filming by the beginning of next year, like February, some point.
I say like 2 or 3 months.
hell yeah. I was thinking it'd probably be a smarter idea to wait until the summer, because like the end is in the desert, right?
Yeah.
Just continuity and stuff. You started off and it's snowing, and then 10 minutes later you're like, what the hell? How do we get in the desert? What the fuck?
True.
Or an excuse for a road trip.
That's also a possibility. Either way, I feel like I'm really excited to see how Spiff Diff and Kush comes out.
I feel like the desert scene is going to be difficult since, we live in Indiana. We don't live anywhere close to desert area.
I mean, we got the dunes
Well, I was gonna say.
up north.
But I feel like the dunes is more like a beachy type of.
I was gonna say the dunes, or if we could find a place to do it, you could just buy a bunch of sand, like from Home Depot or some shit, and just choose your angles very fucking carefully.
True.
Just make a little set damn near.
Yeah,
I feel like that would
because
be
you could just lay down a tarp,
right.
pour all the sand out on the tarp, and then just.
That's a lot of fucking cleanup though.
Well, yeah, but
What are you gonna do with 17
gotta do what
bags
you
of
gotta do to
sand?
make the dream
I kind of want to do it. Like I was thinking more like the
vacuum.
the salt flats in like Nevada, that area, but it's Nevada, so I don't think we're gonna be going.
Road trip, road
All the
trip,
way out there.
road trip,
Ooh,
road trip.
ooh, ooh,
But-
ooh, road trip.
I like how the salt flats look, like how it's all like broken up, like
It's like dry and
land,
cracked.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like a legit desert rather than like a bunch of sand and some random ass shot of a camel eating.
Yeah.
Right.
The fucking Arabian Night.
That fucking video that I showed you. Yeah. I should have put that in the rotation for later for TT's talks, but I forgot all about it, honestly. That's such a good video. I might put it in post. If I remember, it's right here. Give it 10 seconds. And that's some funny shit. All right, if I don't remember to edit this in, then that was retarded.
Video
But
was definitely longer than that.
I'll put it in the description for TT's talks. I'll put all the ones that we get to in the description. But anyways, onward and upward. All right. Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you guys. So as you can see on the side, Unfuckswittable, it came out a few months ago now. And finally gotten around to ordering or putting in order the deluxe edition. So Unfuckswittable Deluxe Edition coming to you soon. So keep your eyes peeled out for that. For any of my other social media or to find my music, linktree.com/JAK Productions. That'll take you to my music on Spotify and Apple Music and YouTube as well, and my social medias and all that. And also the Feeling Generous tab. All the proceeds go to production value for the podcast and stuff, getting new mics and painting the studio and what you have. All right, T, hit him with your spiel before we get into it.
All right, so as I said, name's Theo. You can check out my films at Glasshouse Films 8 on YouTube. And if you want to get in contact with me in any way about being part of any film, you can contact me at Glasshouse Films 8 on Instagram, and we can chat it up and figure out how you can help.
Hell yeah. Right on.
I don't have anything to plug.
I didn't figure as much, but...
Well, actually, if you want me to customize any clothing, let me know. You can hit me through Jaylen's information.
Hell yeah.
Or let me know.
I don't check my social medias too often. I try and stay off of it as much as I can, but if I see you on there and you give me a follow, I'll follow you back eventually. Hit me with a question or, whatever you got in my DMs, but...
Ooh, I know what I can plug.
Go ahead.
If anyone's interested, if anyone likes, sushi or Asian food, you should come see me at work. I work at Kasai Sushi Bar and Kitchen on 10th and Jaylen. So
hell yeah,
it's really good food and an even better staff. So
hell yeah.
Also, I will be selling clothes there soon. So that's.
Oh yeah, you were talking to your boss. Finally gave you the go ahead to make like store shirts.
Yeah, like custom Kasai shirts for customers and stuff like that.
You have any idea what you're gonna do for the design?
I have one design planned already. It's just I want to do like a bleach dye black shirt.
Mm-hmm.
I might put pink over the bleach, but I haven't decided yet, so that it's like black and pink. But it's gonna say Kasai Sushi Bar and Kitchen on the front, and then on the back it's gonna be like Hello Kitty characters, a non-licensed picture, like a circle of like the Hello Kitty characters.
Hell yeah, that'd be cool. Very Japanese inspired.
Yeah, I want to do like all different colors, like get like a bunch of neon shirts and bleach dye them and just put like Kasai Sushi Bar and Kitchen in like different fonts.
I can't say I've ever seen a bleach dyed neon shirt.
I think it would be interesting, like a bright blue t-shirt and you just like twist it and bleach dye it. I think that would be really cool.
It'd definitely be interesting to see how it comes out.
I also want to get a couple shirts and try the ice dye where you like put the ice over the t-shirt and do the powdered dye instead.
It does look pretty cool. Excuse me. Jeez.
Yeah.
All right. So, Kasai Sushi, Glasshouse Films 8 on YouTube and Instagram, and then linktree.com/JAK Productions. If y'all fucks with us, we appreciate y'all in two ways. Let's get on into it. Hey, subscribe. Hey. I should change up the melody that I do. I do the same one every time. All right, I'll give y'all a ballad this time. Hit subscribe. Share the video with your grandma. Oh, damn, it's over. All right, we're back. All right, welcome back to the Two Tone Podcast. As I said before, my name is Jaylen Kale. That other light skin over there is my little brother Theo Kale, and special guest Sam.
Skin is his fiancé Sam.
And the rice skinned it over there. How's it going, y'all? What you been up to recently? I know we kind of chopped it up a little bit, but
working, sleeping, eating, shitting, smoking.
Hell yeah. The same for Theo, but no smoking.
Yeah.
Just chilling.
Instead. Now that he's old enough.
Oh hell yeah! So I must say, have you indulged in drinking much since you turned 21, T?
Not really.
Besides, like the first couple days up until my birthday. But even then, it wasn't like heavy. He had like a couple drinks at my birthday.
Right. I'm gonna have to say, I feel like You definitely don't like to get too crunk, but you like to have a couple drinks in you, you know.
He's like us. He likes to have, like a
Just enough for your tism to not be, you know,
I was about to say like
violently
a
aware.
pack
TISM.
tism, baby.
like a pack in the fridge, have one with dinner or something like that.
Yeah, that's
Not
how I like to do it, honestly. Just have one with dinner.
Mhm.
Maybe one after, but usually that second one leads to a nap, and then, you know,
Yeah.
I'm
I was about to say we hardly
by
ever
9:30.
get past 2.
barely ever do we get past 2, but
We might crack a third one, but it's gonna get like 2 sips of it.
Right,
We're gonna
and
put
then-
it back in the fridge.
dead ass. Dead ass, though. Oh, Lord. Excuse me. All right, so what y'all want to hop into first? The album, the film?
I want to talk about the film.
Hell
It's
yeah.
one of my favorite movies of all time.
All right, so for this week, alongside us having a guest, we did another flip flop episode. So I chose the film, and TT chose the album. Yes, out of nowhere, TT told me to listen to this album, and I was like, "What the fuck?" All right, I'll listen to it. All right, and it turned out to be some really sick shit. But we're gonna hop into the film first. All right. So the film of the week, Shark Tale. So I'm about to say I love this movie so much. I've seen it so many times. But
I watched it like on repeat as a kid. Like
Oh,
it was
yeah.
my fall asleep movie as a kid.
it's a classic, honestly. There's so many good moments in the movie, just between, Will Smith's comedy and just like the whole storyline of the movie. It's fucking fried.
I will forever stand by. Everyone talks about like, you get the whale of a wash and the price. Oh my god. Like the scenes with the
Mhm.
jellyfish, or like that's not the way you sing that song, man. But my favorite scene is always gonna be the brother shark that dies in the beginning, his funeral,
Mhm.
when the old ass shark is singing, and then he farts. The 2 killer whales behind him pass out.
Mhm.
Shit's so funny.
It is pretty. One of my
Or
favorite
the
moments.
shrimp.
I say my favorite moment in the movie is they're eating this like shrimp cocktail. The sharks are, and the dad is like, eat this, because like the son, if you haven't seen Shark Tale, I mean, honestly, what are you doing? But if you haven't seen Shark Tales, there's this one shark that's kind of like a little softer.
He's a vegetarian.
He doesn't wanna-
like fish.
He doesn't want to kill. He doesn't want to like kill other sea creatures and stuff. So his dad,
Pacifist, if you will.
right? His dad is like, eat the shrimp, and the shrimp is like, please, my sister, she has 14 kids, and
She had a baby.
She
and
had
it
a
was born
baby.
with no arms.
she was born with no arms and no legs, and if you be
You're a
nice,
good person.
you're a good person. Oh my! Just the fucking the voice they chose for the shrimp. It was just fucking
And
perfect.
then when he swims out the little window, he turns around and like punches with all of his hands.
He's like, there's so many fucking good moments.
oh, there's also when when the shark meets up with Oscar and Angie, finds out that Oscar's hiding the shark,
Mm-hmm.
and they like have to dress him up to like hide him from his family, and he goes, Sebastian, the whale washing dolphin.
Bruh. Or the scene where like Sykes brings him into the office and he's like, we have whales, we have dolphins, we have fish, we have whale poo, and then there's you. Bruh. There's so many jokes that I feel like you couldn't get away with in today's society in Shark Tales, especially.
I feel like that's one big reason why like there's not a lot of original stuff coming out anymore, because like you can't push the envelope the way you used to be able to, because like everyone's so sensitive to everything now.
That's something I wanted to bring up a couple weeks ago when you chose Paranorman for the film of the week, T. There's
That's a good one.
there's this one bit in Paranorman that like I went back and watched it because I was like, there's no fucking way they said that in this movie. So so
I know what you're talking
the, so this all right, so like the zombies are taking over the city or whatever, right? And this dude comes out with a shotgun and he's like just shooting haphazardly, and the cop pulls up and she hops out the car. He goes, "Arr!" And she goes, she goes to the dude shoot. She goes, shooting civilians is our job. And I was like, what the fuck? No, they did not just say it. I was like, no fucking way. They just put that in this children's movie. That's another thing. Watching kids movies today, like as a more grown up, you go back and watch them and you're like, there's so many jokes in this that, like, go over your head as a child. They're just happen to be situationally funny, but like what they're saying is some fried shit. They just put that in there for the parents. I love that. It's one of my favorite things in kids movies when you go like, back and you're like, what? I didn't realize that was in there. That's fucking funny.
Like in Shark Tale when the octopus plays the record player and I like big butts and I cannot lie. And he said, hey boss, big butts. Like, you could not put that in a kid's movie now because parents would have a fucking cow about it. And I don't get that shit.
I don't understand it either. There's I feel like there's
I want the world exactly the way it was in like 2010, except with more like open-mindedness when it comes to like race and gay people and stuff like that.
I get that.
There should be representation of that stuff, but you also, like, if you're gonna, like, for example, I see a lot of people on YouTube making being gay or being trans like their entire personality.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, if that's all there is to judge you by, of course people are gonna attack you for that, because people are gonna attack you for anything. So if that's the only thing you're putting out into the world,
right, that's the only thing
they have to criticize. Like,
damn near though. I mean, that makes sense. But I feel like a lot of times there are, or not a lot of times, but there are certain studios and production companies that they still do put that like grown up comedy into the movies, so where that it's not just an hour and a half of watching some bright colors and shit with your child in the theater. But it definitely has gone by the wayside. I feel like there's not as many risks being taken, especially in movies geared towards children. There's a lot. I feel like there's a lot of social like hot button issues that people really don't want to get into when they go and see a movie. But
like when we're getting off topic, but I don't care. When Turning Red came out, the movie about the little girl that turns into a red panda, everyone was like pissed the hell off because of like her mom bringing her pads at school and it being like such an open thing about her starting her period. Or like how like when she went to the concert and was like fighting her mom as this giant red panda, she like shook her butt at her and was like, you don't like that? like there was just a bunch of stuff that like, yeah, it was kind of inappropriate, but that's really how 13-year-old girls are. Like, they're obsessed with boy bands and they're starting their periods and they're fuck you mom, like that's how they are. And everyone was pissed off because like it was too accurate and they didn't like censor it as much as they should have. But like, that's what TV should be. That's what movies should be geared towards kids. It should be preparing them for like real world situations. Like, they should be able to see themselves in characters. It shouldn't be like this picture perfect role model. You know what I'm saying? Like, role models should have flaws and like things that are like deemed inappropriate, because that's real.
I understand that. I mean, there's definitely a fine line between, just like overexposing all that shit and like doing it in a proper way. I feel like most of the times when people do that kind of stuff, like I feel like, I don't know, because in my mind, it's kind of like we all know where the line is. Like, everybody's trying to get close to the line, but not like on the line or over the line, but I feel like most times with movies that are, trying to make a point nowadays, they most of the times are on the line or over the line, It's like, we didn't need the hit the nail right on the head, we could have.
The best example that I can think of like pushing the envelope and like sitting literally right on the line is The Office. But The Office was also in like a completely different societal time. I just meant like that's a good example of like addressing it but not over addressing it, like the roast episode. There were a lot of jokes in that episode that were like inappropriate, but at the same time like it was honest and true. You know
Right.
what like, it was realistic. It wasn't.
I feel like especially in The Office, like there's so many. You definitely couldn't make The Office
No.
today. Like
No.
it definitely would not come out on public
Like
access
Andy, you're
today.
gayer than Oscar. Boom, roasted. Like, you could not say that now.
Right. There's so many episodes of The Office that I'm like, there's no way you could get over with production on like in today's day and age to make these episodes.
Oh yeah. But Shark Tale, yeah, Shark Tale is a good ass movie.
What's your favorite scene in Shark Tale, T?
Probably the octopus one when he's in the office and he's playing the I like big butts and again
On the right.
Oh yeah.
This- hey boss, big butts.
Okay, so my favorite scene is with the grandpa shark, but a close second is when Sykes and like the big daddy shark are like, I want to rephrase that. The mafia boss shark are like, what? You said what first?
What?
Stop saying what. Okay.
There's so many fucking good moments in that movie. I'm gonna say me and TT ended up working today together, and I was trying to watch it, and I got about 10-15 minutes into it, and I was like, I've seen this movie so many times, I can't just stand here and watch it again. But if
you
it
so broke your baloney ain't got no first name. I just remembered that in the beginning when he was like, "This my crib," and it was a billboard.
he's in front of the billboard, yeah. Oh my god! If you
and
haven't
little
seen,
kids come up and like start fighting.
yeah. He's like, you shouldn't be in school. Shouldn't you be at work? You got
so
me
broke,
there.
your baloney ain't got no first name.
There's so many fucking good ass moments in that fucking movie.
That's just such a good roast for such a little kid.
Right. All right, onward and upward. All right, T, you want to tell us a little bit about John the Conqueror? Sorry, I almost said Carpenter. Can't even fucking speak. All right, tell me why you chose John the Conqueror. Jesus Christ.
You'll get there.
Eventually.
Because I was just scrolling through my playlists that I have 740 of, and I clicked on one playlist, and there was music in there by them, and I totally forgot who they were, and then I played their song, and I was like, this shit hits hard, and so...
I'm gonna say I was honestly surprised by the album you had chose because it's like right up my alley. Honestly, like it's the kind of music that like if I had a whole band to play with, that's the kind of shit that I would make. Like,
it struck me as one of those albums that's like, it's one of those albums you wish you could listen to for the first time again.
yeah, definitely. It's if you haven't heard of John the Conqueror, it's kind of like it's like Black Keys meets like
It's blues rock.
yeah, it's like it's like the closest thing I can compare it to is like early days Black Keys, where it's like a lot of melodic lines and just like
It almost struck me as like Black Keys meets like almost like a Leon Bridges vibe.
yeah, kind of. It's like if the Black
like a mixture of their vibes.
if the Black Keys were from Alabama kind of vibes.
yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna say it's definitely I believe the album's from like 2014 or something like that.
2014, 2015, somewhere in there.
I'm gonna say I remember they only have 2 albums on Spotify from 2014 and 2015, so they kind of fell off. But their sound in the first album that they had, their self-taught album, it was really fucking interesting to listen to because it kind of matches the alternative rock that's coming out at that era, like with the heavier distortions and the melodic lines. That one of my favorite things that they did, they have the guitar with the distortion on it matching the melody of the singer, like what they sing for the chorus is matched with the distortion on the guitar. So like there's like two different
Like
timbres
the
of the melody.
with the singer kind of.
Right. Well, I mean they're in unison, but
You get what I meant.
They're singing the same melodic line.
Yeah, yeah.
But it was just really interesting the way they did that. It really reminded me a lot of like the Black Keys on like Thick Freakness and like Rubber Factory. They're older stuff. But
I was going to say, I think it takes like a lot of talent, and it really impresses me when people can like make their instruments sound like they're singing instead of like down 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 down, like individual notes versus like making it all sound like, you know, like with your voice you can switch from one note to the next without there being like a separation.
Right.
And I think it's really interesting when people can make their instruments do that, especially like on the piano.
Oh yeah.
Like that shit. Oh.
I'm about to say it's one thing to do it on the guitar because you know you just have the fluidness of the frets and stuff. You can just kind of slide from one note to the other,
On the
as
piano,
opposed
it's
to the
because it's percussion. So
right.
like,
It's a
literally
percussion
like,
and a melodic instrument at the same time.
Yeah.
You got to kind of use like the pedals and stuff on like a traditional piano, or hope that your keyboard has a reverb on it or something like that.
I also find like legitimate like pianos interesting because it's both percussion and string.
Yeah, it
and I
is.
just find that interesting. I find like combination instruments like that really interesting.
I'm gonna say it's always interested me how like the harp is essentially just a piano that they stood up on this, or you know,
Yeah.
I guess
yeah,
a piano
without
would
the
just be a
keys,
harp
yeah.
that they laid down.
Yeah, yeah.
I feel like the harp would predate the piano.
Or like how an accordion is like a wind instrument and a percussion.
Mm-hmm.
I
There's-
think that shit's so cool.
There's so many different instruments and shit that are ridiculous to play. Like I don't understand how people play like woodwind instruments, like with reeds and shit, bro.
I was
Fucking
friends
fuck me.
with this girl, I think her name was Julia,
Mm-hmm.
or Julia or something like that, in middle school. And she played the jazz sax. And I went over to her house one time and she got like a clean reed and like showed me how to prep it and like let me try and play her saxophone.
Mm-hmm.
No. Because you have to like, you can't just blow into a wind instrument. Like a woodwind or any type of wind instrument. You have to like buzz.
Right, you gotta
like,
make a certain noise and shape
Yeah.
with your mouth.
Yeah, or especially like the tuba. Like you literally have to expel an entire lung's worth of air just to make like 2 or 3 notes.
I wouldn't doubt
Like-
it. Tuba big as shit.
Yeah. One time in middle school, a kid got stuck in his tuba.
How the
Somebody
fuck you
put 'em in
manage
there.
that?
Somebody put him in there. Like somebody shoved him in there.
That's
Yeah.
fucked.
And he got stuck in there.
Poor guy.
Yeah.
I bet that was a bitch and a half to fix the tuba after getting bro out of there.
No, they literally had to like call the fire department and the fire department had to cut him out.
Imagine being the kid that got cut out of a tuba, bro.
It's not worse than what happened to me. So,
R.I.P., bro.
you know the little holes in the middle of the lunch tables where it's like meant to like, you like grab it and you pull it up, right?
To fold the table in half? Yeah.
And there's like, it's literally just like enough to put your finger in.
Right.
I got my finger stuck in there. And you guessed it, the fire department had to come and cut me out of the table.
Ouch.
Like in the middle of lunch. So there was like a cafeteria full of kids just watching me get cut out of
You
the
just-
table.
You just sitting to the side just fucking...
No, I was hysterical. I was hysterical. Like,
Hell no.
like, I thought they were gonna cut my finger off, bro. They get out this fucking circular saw and start cutting the table. I thought they were gonna cut my finger off.
That's fucking fried.
But they literally like cut enough of the table to get it like basically a ring around my finger, and then
Mhm.
they like oiled it up and like forced my finger out.
Oof.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound too fun.
It like, I'm surprised I don't have a scar from it, but it like partially degloved my finger on the side. Like not fully, like
Right.
it was more just like a scrape than an actual degloving.
Right.
But like it started to.
Ow.
And that's when I learned not to put my fingers in holes unless I'm bowling.
Mm.
And even then it's risky.
Right. Not
What?
putting fingers in
Jeez.
holes, huh? No.
Ew.
I'm playing.
Ew.
No.
I mean, unless
I'm
my
sorry,
nose
I'm fucking
counts or
retarded.
my mouth.
Do what?
I mean,
said
Jaylen, you'd be the only one that would know.
Oh my fucking god. Oh Lord.
Or does he?
All right. So at this point of the episode, we don't really have anything else planned, so we're gonna hop right on into a little. Oh
Titties
damn!
talks.
I forgot I did all this work pulling up pictures and shit. I mean, there's John the Conqueror if y'all was interested. Oh, I wanted to talk about this. So nowadays, you don't really see any kids that have an aspiration to become like these guys. You know, minus the hair and the questionable
80s rock
fashion
music
choice.
time. Is this the 80s? It is because the hair, right?
I would assume so. I don't know.
90s.
I just looked up a picture of a rock band. But anyways,
Yeah. All the good rock bands were like in the 80s and 90s. So.
you're not wrong. That's what I wanted to get into. There's not many kids nowadays that like aspire to be a part of a band. Like I feel like there's
break out on their own.
There's so much more what's the damn word I'm looking for? There's so much more focus on like the individual pathway of becoming like a rapper, producer, or like a singer-songwriter, you know. I feel like there's not as many bands that come out nowadays, and it's I don't know, it's just one of those things. It's like is it the end of bands, you know? Like are we not just going to have there's obviously famous bands that are, you know, popular still today, but I feel like there's a decline on like actual live music. I feel like it might just be from, you know, living in the Midwest. We don't really get all that many bands that aren't Leonard Skinner or fucking some
feel like
oldies.
A big thing is that like EDM is also on the rise, and you really only need one person to make a turntable work, like, or like a DJ setup. I don't know if they call it a turntable anymore, but that's what I'm always gonna call it.
Right.
But
I'm going to say it definitely is. It's being like an artist that works solo. It's weird because I work solo, but I also have a band that I play with sometimes, you know. So like I kind of get the best of both worlds, you know. I can focus on an album by myself for, you know, 5 months and then hit up the band and be like, hey, y'all want to play sometime soon, and then we can figure it out, and then, you know, have a couple weeks where I'm playing with the band, and then but I don't know.
Sorry, go ahead.
I feel like there's definitely not as much like gearing kids towards like a creative journey in school. I feel like also like there's much more incentive for somebody to be like, oh, go to college and get a degree, and then after you get the degree, maybe if you still want to be in a rock band, or now you can try it after school and shit. But
yeah, I feel like college is also on the decline because like I have two things. So I feel like bands are going out of style because our society nowadays is so focused on like what makes you an individual. Your feelings matter. Like all your feelings are valid, which is not true. Not all your feelings are valid. But and like not everyone is special, and I'm so tired of hearing that shit. Like not everyone is special. That sucks, but like how can there be someone who is special amongst an entire majority of people that are special? You get what I'm saying? Like, that no longer makes you special. That just raises the average. Like, that's...
Right, if we all special, then nobody is.
And I feel like...
Special needs.
Our generation isn't focused on, like, having a family or being connected to the community. You know what I mean? Like, it's also, like, me, mine. Like, this is mine, this is mine. Nobody can have it. I'm not sharing. I'm not trusting anybody. Like...
That's something that, like, there's a cacophony of fucking podcasts that I listen to, but a lot of them are talking about something like stuff like that. Like, there doesn't seem to be a sense of community anymore. Like, Chris DiStefano has a podcast that I watch. Excuse me.
And I genuinely feel, now, hear me out. I genuinely feel it's because traditional values have declined. Like, men no longer feel the need to stay with a woman that they impregnate just because they made a child with them.
That's definitely part of the problem.
I understand, like, you can't make a relationship out of nothing just because there's a baby. But, like, if you do have a relationship with that person and you leave because they got pregnant, you are the problem. Like,
Big
you
facts.
are the reason that community is dying. Like, it takes a village, but there's no longer a village to count on.
Right. That's definitely part of the problem. I feel like there's so many parts of the problem that you can't really start to dissect something without somebody else being like, well, what about this? We're like, yes, that's part of the problem, but like we gotta fucking start somewhere, you know? Like
Right.
it just becomes a fucking pissing contest to figure out what problem is the biggest part of the problem, and then nothing gets solved, you know?
Or like the college thing, like people aren't going to college anymore because that degree pretty much renders you useless unless you have experience to back it up. But how are you going to get experience if no one's going to hire you without it? And also, why am I going to spend, 50 plus years of my life, or like 50 years of my life at this company who isn't going to do shit for me in return? Like capitalism has taken over. Companies no longer give a fuck about their employees, and that's
Right.
why people are no longer choosing careers.
That's also a big part of the problem. Like there's there's just not an incentive for somebody to go to school for 4 years and then have $150,000 worth of debt. Just like,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the only debt that you can't, like, you if you go
Can't
bankrupt,
expunge
like,
it, yeah.
yeah, you still owe your student debts even if you
Mm-hmm.
declare bankruptcy, and that's fucked. You know, like
Yeah.
kids are going to school at like 18, 19. Like when we were 18, 19, you know, fucking we'd have fucking smacked somebody in the face for $30,000. You know, like what the fuck? We don't know what the fuck we're doing, and then it's kind of ridiculous to me the amount of people that still go to college. Like, if
I feel like it's the other way around, personally. But
what do you mean? In what aspect?
I feel like more people are going to. I feel like a lot more people are going to college instead of chasing what they want to do because they want to make their parents happy.
Or they want to party.
And so
You-
they go to college and then get fucked over in debt, and then they get out of college and then they decide that they want to be something else, and then
Mhm.
but they got all this debt.
That's literally what happened to my mom. My mom is over $200,000 in debt. I'm pretty sure. It might have gone down since then. It might be like closer to 100. But
That's
anyways,
fucking crazy.
my mom has gone to school my entire life. She has her master's in criminal justice, which is one below a PhD.
Mm-hmm.
She has her master's in criminal justice. I think like a bachelor's or an associate's in social services, and like a whole bunch of other shit. And she literally worked in a construction supply office for like 15 years, trying to pay off her student debt so that she could be a social worker or a detective or like something that she actually wanted to do with her degree.
Right,
Which
and
now she's working at DCS. But
That's also a lot of the problem. Like, you go to school for 4 years when you're 18, and then you're like, you know, you fucking pick a major when you're, 18,
Mhm.
19, 20 years old, and then that's the fucking path you have to go down unless you want to, just get a fucking general degree. But
And you know what's wild? My mom originally went to college to be an author. She wanted to major, I think, in like English or like creative writing or some shit like that.
mm-hmm.
But her dad had passed away and she just couldn't do it. And so she dropped out. And then when I was born, she decided to go back to school for other things. Like she was passionate about protecting me, so she wanted to protect other kids too. But now she's writing a book and working at DCS and was doing exactly what she wanted to do like 20 years ago.
I'm
But she
not to
couldn't
say.
because she had to pay off all this student debt. She didn't have the money to like move to a city with a better DCS or like
Right.
And
a
then
better author scene.
I feel like our generation is very like so our parents saw their parents having like the life of like you have to stay in this couple and or you have to stay together and raise a family and all this. And so when they grew up, they realized that, and then like they would date somebody that they didn't really like, and so therefore they would break up and or like move on from each other without while still having children to keep the population going and shit. And then our generation is watching our parents struggle because it's a single household income with them making money, And so we're trying to get back to what our grandparents had, but also at the same time have freedoms like our parents.
And dealing with inflation and all that makes it a lot fucking
And
harder.
Right, we're just trying to get the
Like, you
best
bought
of
your house
both
for
worlds.
14 raspberries, and you're fucking telling me I have to pay $500,000 for a 2-bedroom, 3-bathroom house?
Right,
I fucking hate
Or
my...
3-bedroom, 2-bath.
Don't even get me started on fucking financial inflation and all that fucking dumb shit.
I
Like,
was gonna say, I think...
it's
I'm
fucking
sorry.
ridiculous. Like, I was watching this video and it's like the average, like it broke down like what your bills were, like the percentage of what your bills were in like 1950, whatever the fuck it was, and like the household average for like
It was like
your
30%
rent.
or some shit.
Yeah,
like
I'm gonna
that,
say
wasn't it?
the average was like 30% for your,
Like,
your
the
rent.
entirety of your bills was like 30% back in like the 60s or 70s or something like that.
I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was like far less than like what it is today. Like the video was showing that like you would damn near have to like exceed the earnings that like the I forget, I'm fucking it all up, but it was like it just broke down the way that like the percentages of the bills, like, it was like 45% was for rent instead of 30% or whatever it was back in the day. But it's fucking crazy. Like the housing market is absolute shit right now. Like rents are ridiculous for tiny ass apartments. It's fucking crazy.
I was gonna say, I feel like the whole... This is like back a couple topics, but I feel like the whole like dads leaving epidemic genuinely started because of the World War. Because all of the dads were going off to serve in the military. And so, like, guys just got this, like, well, I grew up without a dad and I was fine. Or, like, we just grew up with this ideology. Well, like, over generations, people grew up with this ideology of, like, you don't need a dad to run a household. Not understanding that, like, that dad was putting money back into the house. Like, he wasn't not a part of the household by choice. He was in the military, you know what I mean?
Right, I can understand what you're saying. I feel like I'm
Like,
gonna say it's
generational trauma type
right.
shit.
I'm gonna say it's it's another one of those issues that's like it's such a compound and like human issue. It's like there's so much that you could say about it that like it's one of those things that's hard to go back and figure out like where it all went wrong. We just kind of gotta hit the reset button and hope that we don't fuck it up from here on out.
But about the housing market, switching back,
Mm-hmm.
since 2002, the income has gone up like 25% or some shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
The housing market has gone up like 110%. Or like 100, some crazy ass number, like 110, 120, something like that. And so our inflation of cost of living is like 6 times the inflation of our income. And I fully believe that it's a tactic to keep the rich rich and keep the poor poor, just like what happened in the Great Depression. I feel like we're either already in or on the verge of another Great Depression. Because the gap between the poor and the rich is getting bigger and bigger and
Right.
bigger and bigger and bigger.
It also doesn't help that people keep having, like, households that have more than, like, 3 or 4 kids, and so that
Yeah.
those people are going to grow up and still need a house to live in, so the housing market's going up because people are still going to need houses.
I feel like you should have 1 kid per parent. That, like, 1 kid per adult. That is the limit.
So
Like,
China?
not like China, where they, like, fucking kill babies and kidnap pregnant women and, like, give them drugs and shit. I don't know if they still do that, but they did do that in, like, the 70s and 80s. They would kidnap pregnant women and, like, try and abort their children.
I'm gonna say there's so much fuck shit like when you get into all like the minutia of fucking the entire fucking problem of housing and fucking
I was about to say I don't
Goes
agree
all
with
that shit.
China's execution, but I agree that we should limit how many kids people can have. Because they're like eventually we're gonna run out of fucking space if people keep having 8, 9, 10 kids per family. Like that's just crazy. Like why do you need that many fucking kids?
I mean,
That's 10 Christmas presents at least. That's 10 phone bills, 10 college tuitions if they choose to. Like, fuck that.
the only... So, Yes, there's a lot of people on this planet, but as of right now, China is like almost at half of what the whole population of the world is.
Mhm.
So like the whole population of the world is 7 billion, right? And China's at like 4 billion in
That's a
one
lot of
area.
motherfuckers.
I know Saudi Arabia has a lot of people too.
So we need to stop China from having children.
Well, I don't know about Saudi Arabia specifically, but like that area, like India and like those countries in that area. I know India has a lot of fucking people too.
Also,
India does have a lot of people.
I don't
Like if you do like people per square mile, like India has almost as much population density as China.
I also don't understand why. So, okay. Us as the United States, yes, we need to help our allies.
Right.
So I get sending like troops over to Israel and all that, but like we don't need to send the whole fucking army to Israel.
And also, like, we need to mind our own fucking business.
Yeah,
like, if nobody
that too.
asked for help, don't offer it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if
Dead
they don't
ass.
ask for help, don't put your fucking nose in it.
But I mean,
That's how world wars start.
there's also like treaties between countries that are like, if we get attacked, you need to help us because it's like a contract, so they can't break the contract or
You
they'll
know why?
come back and kill us.
You know why
We
the
need to hit-
USA hasn't been invaded, right? Everybody would come out of the fucking wood. They wouldn't make it past Florida, bro.
I'm
Like,
at the-
they wouldn't
the
make
only-
it past Texas.
The only chance they have is coming out of California. Because if they come through
Nukes.
California, I mean,
Oh, if they nuke us, we're done. Like, we're done. We're dead in the water.
If anybody
half of
shoots a
the
nuke
state's
at
toasted.
anybody, the world's just fucked at that point because everybody's just gonna start launching.
oh yeah, I'm
nukes
about
at
to
each
say if anybody shoots a nuke, then fucking China shoots one at fucking Ukraine or some dumb shit, and then
like, you
fucking
remember the fucking,
we shoot one at China, and then China shoot ones at
the
fucking
missile
everybody gonna die.
crisis when like someone accidentally set off the missile alert in like Hawaii or some shit like that.
Oh, the Red Scare or something like that.
Somebody accidentally set
Soviet
off
Union.
a missile alarm, and like a bunch of fucking people in like Hawaii and California got notifications on their phone, like emergency alerts telling them to seek shelter and shit.
recently.
No, this was like in like 2010, in between 2010 and 2014. I feel like it could have been sooner than that, or
I don't know.
before that.
I didn't even know.
I don't remember hearing about it.
I remember I was like in like, I want to say like intermediate or middle school, but I remember they turned on the news in class and it was talking about like what we need to do if there's a nuclear war about
Oh,
to
we gonna
break out.
die, bro.
Everybody's just gonna be going at that.
I was
point.
like, bro, I literally just remember sitting in class thinking like,
Like, what
like-
the fuck you want me to do?
well, not even that, but like, we're in the middle of Indiana, bro. Like, where am I about to seek shelter from a nuclear fucking missile?
Right,
Like,
like
in the ground.
I'm about to just start fucking
just
digging a
fucking
hole.
digging like a mole, just with my hand just in the ground.
That's fried.
Like, and then we, for like months after that, we had like drills where we would have to go into the basement.
What the
And, like,
fuck? That's
wait.
crazy. I don't
And
remember
it's
none of
just,
this.
Like, if there was a nuclear war, let's be fucking honest. If there was a nuclear war, I genuinely don't think that the human race would survive.
I mean,
I'm
I feel
as-
like
I feel like it would literally be like Dr. Stone.
I
where
feel like
there's,
Elon
select
Musk would launch
people.
himself into space, but
Oh yeah.
other than that, we'd be fucked.
I feel
Oh
like
yeah,
it would literally
there'd be
like,
a certain few that would just go
You'd be
into
like,
space.
all the rich people come with me.
That'd be
onto the-
fried.
I feel like it would literally be like Dr. Stone.
I also feel like in government, we should have everybody that wants to be a part of the Congress or the House take a fucking history test.
And also they need to be younger.
Because ain't none of them know history.
Term
not-
limits. Term
I'm not
limits.
saying
They were
Term
talking about it and
limits.
saying how they should
Term
only have 8
limits.
years.
I was about to say,
in
I'm
the
not
government.
saying that like some 25-year-old, and I am 24, so like I'm not saying some 25-year-old should be the president.
But not fucking 98.
Right, I'm just saying
But
like
if-
it should be like you literally have to be at least 35 in order to even be considered for running, let alone have sponsors or Congress support or any of that. So I feel like, one, Congress needs term limits. all those people need term limits. The Senate, Congress, everybody. And also, the age limit should be lowered. Like, you should be able to start running, or at least start your political career at, like, 25.
I say 30 is more a reasonable
I'm talking about,
age.
like, you should be able to, like, run for, like, small government, like a
Like
mayor
city
or a
council.
governor
Like city
or city
councils and
council
shit.
or yeah,
I
like you should
don't
be able
know.
to start your political career much sooner than they allow you to now, because in order to be like city council or anything, you still have to be like 30, 35.
I'm gonna say I don't know the exact rules on like city council and like more local positions and stuff like that, but I do know, as you're saying, that you have to be 35 to be president and stuff.
If motherfucker can't walk upstairs,
And you literally have
right,
to have
like-
get out the office.
I don't understand how we're like, out of everybody in this whole fucking country, we came down to fucking Joe Biden's fucking robotic ass and then fucking Donald Trump. Like, how you gonna have somebody that's either divisive or R word? You know what I'm
we
saying?
just
You know what I'm
need
saying?
someone.
Little tism.
He got a couple
what
of hits at
bothers me
autism.
is that we need to stop voting based on party and start voting based on ideals.
Right.
It literally, like, the reason everything is supposed to be a spectrum, from gender to autism to politics. It's supposed to be a spectrum, not one side or the other. You're supposed to
Right.
take ideas from both sides and find a common ground that's good for the people. Like, there are
Very true.
leftist views that I agree with. There are right views that I agree with. Like, I fully believe that gay people should be able to marry whoever the fuck they want. And trans people, what you do with your body, it's none of my fucking business. Same with abortion. What you do with your life is none of my fucking business.
We should just
But
start.
we should also be able to have guns.
We should just start a fucking. We should just start a party that's like the neutral party, where we just don't give a fuck.
That's
I
what I'm
mean,
saying. There
there
should be, like,
are a
middle
lot
ground
of
party.
other third parties, but none of them ever get enough backing and stuff. Like, there's like the
And most of the time, it's
Tea
like
Party
the
or
fucking Green
Libertarian.
Party that wants to make everything power based off of plants and shit, and it's like
right. There's a lot
that's
of
not gonna help the country, my guy.
If
I'm a-
either of them actually get to candidacy, I'm either voting for is it JFK Jr.? Is that his name?
Robert Kennedy
Yeah.
Jr.
Or Robert Kennedy
Yeah.
Jr. I for some reason always thought that he was like an actual like
He's a leftist,
wasn't
but
it-
he has right views.
John Kennedy.
Is,
that his
JFK
dad's
was
name?
his uncle.
Is I must say Robert Kennedy is
Robert.
JFK's brother.
Yeah.
Robert Kennedy Jr. is
I
his
thought it
son.
was his. Yeah.
JFK's
his son is running for president.
Is JFK's nephew.
Okay, well, whatever. Somebody related to JFK is running for president. I listened to him on the Theo podcast the other day.
Yeah.
I'm either voting for him if he makes it to candidacy, or I'm voting for Marion. I think it's Williams or Wilson or something like that.
Bro needs to get a new
But-
speech box though.
It's
like this.
it's from some
He sounds
medical
like he
shit that
fucking
happened to
smokes
him.
70 packs of Newports a day.
It's from some medical shit that happened to him. I think it's from some vaccine or some shit. I don't know. I don't want to.
The coronavirus vaccine.
Yeah, I don't fucking know.
But
I'll give it a Goog real quick.
Yeah.
But continue talking. You just, who's this other person you're talking about?
oh, Marion, she believes in just giving people free will. Like, you should have the right to protect yourself in your own home, but at the same time, you shouldn't be able to walk into a fucking gun shop and buy a fully automatic weapon. Like,
I don't know about the fully automatic weapon.
I don't
part.
understand why somebody
she
needs.
said that we should have control of guns. Like, we should have access to them, but not in the sense that we have now. Like what I was talking about the other day, like, military people should not be able to take their fucking Desert Eagle into their house. Like,
I mean, a Desert Eagle's not an automatic weapon.
but you get what I'm saying. Like, you shouldn't be able to, like, fucking blow somebody's fucking head off. Like,
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, but like, I feel like
you should also have training before
right,
you're allowed
like
to buy a
there's
gun.
the amount of people that have guns that have zero like formal training on it
Oh,
is
jeez.
fucking ridiculous. Like,
Yeah,
it
That's
baffles me.
That's another thing that she was talking about in the TikTok that I watched the other day. She was talking about how if we did have full access to weaponry,
Mm-hmm.
like, even more so than we do now, there should be levels of classes that you have to take before you can purchase those weapons.
But I mean, like, people will still find ways around that to
Well,
get the
yeah,
weapons.
but,
Right.
like-
I must say, there's always like the fucking black market and
And she
You know,
also
fucking-
talks about sorry, I keep interrupting you. I'm
no,
sorry,
you're
go ahead.
fine. Go ahead.
She also talks about like the drug epidemic that's going on in the
Mhm.
US right now. Like, no, we shouldn't legalize drugs, but we should decriminalize them and offer people help instead of just throwing them in prison to dry out.
We should decriminalize drugs that show proof of being helpful instead of hurtful. So, like,
should-
heroin
We
should
need to
be
re-
illegal.
No.
in my
We need to
So there's a
reclass
difference
all of the
between-
fucking drugs.
There's a difference between decriminalization and legalization. Decriminalization basically just means that you won't necessarily immediately go to prison just because you have these drugs or are addicted to these drugs. It means that instead of a prison sentence, you could choose to serve your sentence in a rehab instead and get better instead of just drying out in a fucking cell or, you know, getting your drugs in prison.
I thought they
or-
gave rehab in prisons, but
No, they don't.
Oh.
Not most of them, anyway. I can't speak
The
for
more you
every
know.
prison, but like most of them do not. Most of them, you can get pretty much anything you want in there.
I feel like we should force rehab onto people who take, like, major drugs like
Mhm.
heroin and, like, drugs that hurt instead of help. Because,
Right.
like, weed, yes, I can see the helpful properties, or mushrooms, I can see the helpful properties. But, like, if you're doing,
Legalized
like,
shrooms.
fucking black tar heroin on the side of the road, like, get some fucking
Right.
help, bro.
There's an
That's what I'm
obvious
saying, like,
there's an obvious point where like the drug is using you and you are not
Mhm.
using the drug anymore. Like there's an obvious point where like you can see somebody on the street that's had a couple beers and there's somebody else on the street that's had like 17 beers and they're just fucking trashed, you know. Like there's an obvious point where
Anything that's...
right, and that's what decriminalization works towards is like offering help instead of just
right.
If it's grown, it's good. If it's made in a lab, it's
agreed.
bad.
Agreed.
Unless
Unless
there's,
it's LSD.
there's I feel like
But even then, I mean,
the way to solve this
it's
problem
fucking
is to reclass all of the fucking drugs, because as it is right now, marijuana is a Schedule 1 substance, but also is
I
a
ain't never overdosed on
prescribed
some
medicine.
marijuana.
You know why?
It's a prescribed medicine and also a Class 1 substance.
You know why?
It doesn't make any fucking sense. Class 1 means there is no medical value for it, but yet there are still states that have fucking medical marijuana. I don't understand
You
how.
know why? Why it's a class 1? Because back in the day, black people used to be smoking them,
Mm-hmm.
them blunts, and then the white girls were like, "Oh my God, can I try it?" And their white dads were like, "No, he's a black person. You can't do that. You can't have sex with a black man, because then you make mixed race children. We gonna have to kill you for it."
I was about to
White
say,
power.
also going back
Basically,
to the whole,
racism
like,
is the reason.
I was about to say, going back to the whole like housing crisis and the Great Depression and all that, I fully believe that it started when like segregation ended. That this is not a pro segregation argument. Okay, that's not what I'm saying. It's not what I'm saying at all.
Get ready to
That's
jump.
not what I'm saying. I'm saying that when segregation ended, they like the black neighborhoods stayed the black neighborhoods because it was the poorer neighborhoods.
Right.
And eventually, like, poor white people also started living there because they couldn't afford to live in, like, the white neighborhoods. And so it became the ghettos versus the suburbs, and you know what I'm saying? Like,
And then
it
the
became a
government
whole
started
class system
planting
based on that.
drugs, and then the whole fucking drug epidemic. And
Like,
then
literally,
I'm saying, like-
jails started because of slavery. Like, our modern day
Facts.
prison system started because slavery ended and they had to find a way to make black people slaves again. Like, the prison system is a slave system, and you can't convince me otherwise. You literally work for pennies on the dollar.
it just goes back to racism. That's what we
I'm
Yeah,
gonna stop.
literally.
This whole episode is just full of some complex ass issues. Like I'm
That's
gonna
what
say
I'm known
like
for. What can I say?
it's just like all these fucking like there's so many fucking things that contribute to like this fucking output that we have, but like the way that it would be so easy just to fix it all and just fucking move forward like nothing happened,
It
compared
cracks
to
me
the
up.
way like everybody would just rather just fucking keep trucking through the fucking mud.
It cracks me up because our generation's solution is not to actually fix the problems, but it's like, I just won't have kids. Fuck it.
Just ignore
Like,
the problem.
We'll just kill off the human race. Like,
That is
and honestly, I feel like that's what's happening. Like,
But
because I don't know what anybody else believes, but I feel like the Earth itself and the universe is sentient. And I feel like the earth is trying to purge us right now, because if you look at everything that's going on in the world, like Africa splitting into multiple continents, like I don't know if anyone's heard of that. There's a giant crack running down Africa right now, and it's getting bigger every fucking day.
The Ice Age type shit.
Yeah, literally. Or like the fucking locusts in, I don't remember where, but there is locusts in some farming country that like literally took out all of their fucking crops. That's why sriracha stopped making their sriracha, because there were no peppers to make it. And like
Hashtag get fucked.
it's literally like
Hashtag get fucked.
I don't call myself a Christian. Like I'm spiritual, but I'm not. I don't believe in like the stereotypical God.
Right.
But like it's literally everything that the Bible said would happen at the end of times. And like that sounds like a crock of shit, but if you go look in Revelations, it's literally every single thing that the Bible said would happen is happening right now.
Dead ass.
See, I feel like our generation doesn't not want to have kids. They just don't want to have to deal with the economy and what's going to happen if we repopulate. Because, like, I mean, I want to have children, but I feel like if I do, I'm going to fuck up the world somehow with
It's
the
also just expensive
economic.
as fuck.
I'm
Like,
about to
it's
say, like,
expensive enough to
the-
just live us two, let alone adding a whole nother human being.
Yeah, so the
Like-
Right, I'm gonna
economic,
say-
like, backlash to yourself
Mhm.
is going to be fucked.
Between, you know, like rent, cost of living, and fucking, you know, groceries are expensive as fuck now. Gas is fucking, it's kind of going down a little bit, but, you know, it's still at fucking,
And
Because
just
Biden
general,
decided to
like-
close the pipeline.
And just general like society, you know, like,
Right,
the way
like-
that society conducts itself. I would not want to introduce another person to that.
right.
Like,
Like, I completely understand why people don't want to have children, like, right now at this very moment. But, like,
I
it's,
totally foster or adopt a kid that already exists, but I'm not bringing another kid into the world.
right. It's definitely one of those things that, like, if the trend continues, like, at some point we're going to have to be like, all right, we got fucking 30,000 people on this earth. Like, we, like,
3,000.
right. We're either going to all be
I mean,
dead or we just
30
got to start
billion.
fucking. No, I'm saying, like,
Oh,
Oh,
it
like
gets
the
to, like,
population's gonna dwindle enough to where
Right,
they're like,
like,
fuck.
if everybody just stops having kids, you know, if the trend of not having children continues, that at some point we're gonna have to be like, all right, well, we just gotta start fucking,
I
just
genuinely
start
wonder
making
if that
kids.
would
It don't
fix
matter.
the problem though. Like the population dwindling would cause people to have to come together as a community in order to survive.
That's definitely like one of the things that human beings are like. I feel like the human mind isn't meant to have connections with such a broad spectrum of human beings. You know,
I
like
feel like the internet ruined everything, but that's just my opinion.
I feel like
Like the
As-
I feel like it
industrial
was
revolution
ruined.
in general ruined everything, because that was our entire sense of community, was leaning on each other to survive
Right.
and help each other.
it made the world so much smaller, but made like the barrier to entry between like authentic connection between people much bigger for some reason, which doesn't really make any sense to me.
I feel like the world was fucked before the internet,
Not
but
not to mention, I bet
the
people were
internet
like,
made it worse.
I bet people
Very
were
much so.
mentally healthy as fuck compared to us. Like back before cell phones and the internet existed. Like when
I
my
don't
mom
know.
was a kid,
I might just,
I
I
feel
feel
like there was so much more healthy connection between people, and like that would bolster your mental health. Even if you went on hard times, you knew you had people that you could call and talk to.
I feel like
or,
there's
like,
definitely
go
like a
see.
sweet spot of where like the where like America in specific like felt at it, to me, you know, not living through the time, but there's like a sweet spot between like the 70s, like I'd say like
I think it was the 90s.
the early 70s until like the 90s, you know. And then, you know, you had 9/11 in 2001 where everybody pretty much came together, and I feel like that was like the last big thing that happened in America that would like actually got everybody's attention together, you know, like
I feel
everybody
like
had
that's
the
why
news
people
on
are
it,
So like never forget, because it was the last time that we really
came together
connected
as a
with each
nation,
other,
right?
like-
Like
in
Every-
real life, like real time, everyone felt the same thing at the same time.
right. What was you
Granted,
gonna say,
it was
T?
fucking tragic, but I mean,
Right.
I mean, tragedy makes connections with people. So I feel like us. I mean, like I don't want it to happen, but I feel like there needs to be another big tragedy for humanity to come together as humanity and help each other instead of fucking each other over every left and right you take.
That goes back to my point of like the whole community thing was based on our survival as a race, like as humans. Like I don't know when, but at some point in human history, I feel like there would have been a sweet spot for literally like what the United States was supposed to be, like a melting pot of the world. And if we would have invited Africans like to come with us instead of forcing them and like kidnapping them and forcing them to work, and like I feel like they would have done that on their own if we would have just been like, hey, you want to come?
I feel like,
you know what I mean?
Right.
Like
in modern times, I feel like the sweet spot was the early 2000s.
I feel like it was the 90s.
The early 2000s, or late 90s, early 2000s was like everybody just did what they did. They didn't give a fuck about like each other's whatever, and we just lived.
It's because that was right before the internet really boomed. Like the sweet spot was after cell phones, like, you know, like the the mobile phones. It looked like a house phone, but you could take it in your car, you know.
Hello.
I feel like the sweet spot was like right in there, like right before smartphones became a thing.
Because I remember,
because you couldn't see that 1% of everybody else's life and compare the 100% of your life to the 1% that you see on the internet.
Like I remember being
social media. I feel like that's when it all just kind of went to shit.
Yeah.
Like even though I was a lot, like I was, like I remembered when they like smartphones were a thing and like how big they've become. When I got to the age to like know what's going on in the world. The cell phones were big, but like I remember before.
That's crazy. I remember when smartphones came out. I'm old as fuck.
I remember when my mom had a flip phone.
I remember like when we were young, when me and Jaylen were younger, our mom didn't allow us to have cell phones or any technology other than like an Xbox, and we were only allowed to play that for a certain amount of time before we had to go outside.
I miss having the special room for the computer.
Ours was always in like the dining room.
Closet with the little desk.
But
ours was always in the dining room, so like we was just out in the open.
Our mom would just force us to go outside and make friends and have play around. But nowadays, kids are more taught to don't go out because there's people that'll hurt you out there.
See,
and it's like, yes, there's people that'll hurt you, but there's also people that'll be friends with you.
Right. I was an only child, and for legal reasons, this is not true. I was home alone from the time that I was like 6 years old because I was an only child raised by a single mom. I mean, my grandparents were right across the street, but they also worked. So I'd be home from, 3:30 when I get home from school to like 6:30 at night. And so, I wasn't allowed to go out and play during that time. And after that, everyone's already inside for dinner. Right. And then the street lights come on. But like being home alone, I had to have a phone. So my first phone was a fucking Razor, like a Motorola Razor, and it could literally only call 911 or my mom.
But I mean, I remember like having to come up with games that weren't even like an actual thing, and just to have fun because it was like winter time.
Just making up games outside, and you're just out in the cold, just like fucking. All right, so we're gonna get the ball, and whoever tackles me wins, and then we can go inside. And I was like, all right, y'all play for 10 minutes. All right, that's fine. Come in, get some hot chocolate or some dumb shit.
But I mean, like even like inside, like when Arthur started like growing up and leaving the house, I was literally home alone the whole time. Just
don't say that, I'll cry.
Bro, it was so boring when Arthur and Jaylen left. Like
Jaylen's gonna be mad at me, out. But when we moved into our first apartment, there was a night when he literally cried for like 20 minutes because he felt like he left you alone in the house. Like he just thought about the fact that like you must be so fucking lonely.
I just had that realization. I was like,
he literally sobbed like, for like 10 minutes.
There's like it's just him in the house. Like I was like, I'll move back, bro. I'll fuck this apartment.
Yeah, literally, he was like, we can't do this. I gotta move back.
But yeah, it was so hard to like go outside and do anything. So that's when I got like my Xbox, and I just became like a house rat now. Like all I do is sit inside and either work on scripts or play games.
I also just feel like socializing is scary as you get older. Like, it's easy when you're a kid because you can be like, what's your favorite color? Green. Oh, mine too. Let's be friends.
Right.
Whereas as an adult, it's like, what do you aspire to be in life? What can you offer me?
It's like, what's your favorite color? Shut the fuck up. Okay.
Yeah, it's like, as an adult, your friendships are more like, what do you offer me that I can't offer myself? Where it's like, why do I have to have something that you can gain just to like having me around?
Yeah.
Like, why can't you just like having me around because of who I am as a person? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, today's society is all like, this is mine, gimme, gimme, gimme. Versus, like, you know, genuine connection and being like, oh, I really like the way you think, or I like the way that you carry yourself, or the way that you treat other people.
Me and Russell were, like, I understand what you're saying, but me and Russell, one of my coworkers, we literally became friends just because we liked the same thing, and then, like, he didn't do any, like,
and you also have the same job, which...
Well, yeah, but,
yeah.
like...
that creates a lot of connection right
like,
there.
we never, like, helped each other with anything. Like, he would help me with, like, some things, but, like, we weren't, like, focusing our friendship on that. We were focusing our friendship on other things, like what video games you play, what do you like to do in your free time type shit. And
that's what friendship should be. It shouldn't be like...
Yeah.
You should be friends because you like the same stuff.
Yeah.
Right. I feel like especially with our generation, a lot of that was fucked up because of COVID. You know, we had like 2 years where
I feel bad for babies born during COVID.
Yeah, I'm about to say, like, go to work, go home, put on a mask, don't talk to anybody because you could get this fucking invisible virus that could potentially kill you. Like,
COVID was fucking... Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was about to get into that too. Like the whole scare behind it, it was like so much. It was exacerbated so much that like what it was dangerous. And then as the strains kept going on and on and on, it got progressively weaker but easier to catch. You know, so like motherfuckers would have it and be like, oh, you know, I had a cough and I thought it was weird, but I didn't think anything weird of it. You know,
it just makes me upset because it's like, if that's the case, like if we're really that scared of getting sick with things that could kill you, you know, assuming you're like 80 years old or like a smoker or whatever, what have you, we should also be wearing masks in the wintertime because that's sickness season, the cold, the flu. We should be wearing masks in every situation because you can get sick from anybody anytime, like pneumonia, the flu, like any of that shit can kill you. Honestly,
like most of the common masks that people were wearing aren't even effective all that much.
If
like
you can blow a candle out through the mask, it's not effective.
I feel like COVID was just a plant for the government to make people separate because like it stopped
divide and conquer.
Like the movie theater, like craze fucking stopped at COVID because like nobody wanted to go out and get sick, so they were like all of the movie theaters were shut down, and then streaming came up and people started watching movies at home and stuff, and they were like, oh shit, this is much easier because I can pause it and go to the bathroom and then come back and unpause it and watch this and watch what I would possibly miss if I went to a movie theater.
I feel like it was yet another... This is going to sound real conspiracy theory, but stay with me, okay?
Hit me with it. I like a good conspiracy theory.
I feel like it was another ploy by the government to separate the poor and the rich, because if you think about it, millions of small businesses closed down during COVID. Millions of people became homeless because they couldn't go to work because their job wasn't essential. Not essential to who?
Right, I'm about to say, like, that's how I kind of, I pay my bills.
My job almost closed down during COVID, and our business was fucking booming before COVID. We had a line out the fucking door, dining room packed every night.
It's
and
fucking crazy how much
that it's just... we're lucky to get 5 deliveries per shift.
Right, it's crazy how much COVID has affected, like, every industry, honestly. Like, before COVID, I remember Zaxby's would be fucking popping, and now it's, you know, it's a fucking ghost town. We have our regulars that come in, but nobody really is like, oh, fucking Zaxby's, I'll try it, you know?
Unless it's football weekend. And
right, I'm going to say, on the weekends it's popping, but that's the weekends.
But if you think about it, like, millions of small businesses closed down, millions of people went homeless, and yet all these big corporations had the funds to adjust their business flow to accommodate social distancing, and, you know, like McDonald's, Walmart, like all these
Right.
places had the means to accommodate to that, and it created an even bigger gap between the poor and the rich, because I don't feel like the economy was that fucking bad before COVID, and now it's just like you can't do anything.
Right.
Like literally our bills take up like 75% of your check.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and that's insane
Bruh.
to me. Like there's no situation where you could justify just living takes up 75% of the money that you spend half your life earning.
Yeah, it's fucking ridiculous, honestly. Like,
Like,
the amount of that's another thing. Like, if shit was just, you know, if for some fucking reason, you know, the government was just like, let's fix it all, you know, restructure the dollar, actually fucking put a reasonable price to everything, and
like if a dollar was actually worth a dollar.
right,
If
if
a dollar was worth anything.
if we could come up with a fucking a system where like people are paying reasonable prices for shit again, like there's nothing has fucking changed. Like, we're still growing the fucking food in the same fields that we were growing it 3 years ago. You know, they might even be bigger at this point. So
We
you know,
need to go back onto the gold standard or some shit.
right? We just need to fucking restructure how we fucking rule society.
Because
like,
now, like, you can literally print out a piece of paper and say, this is worth something.
I genuinely feel like
it has abstract value. We
If-
could change it if we wanted.
yeah. That's literally what I say all the time. Money is fucking man-made. It's a construct. It's
Right.
not like it's not real. Like it is, but it isn't. You get what
It
I'm
can
saying?
be
Like,
worth whatever we collectively agree it's worth.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. But I literally feel like if this is the end of times, it's either gonna happen as the Bible says it's gonna happen. You know, like a fucking. I feel like the whole angels versus devils thing is like a euphemism for a world war,
mm-hmm.
because it talks about the whole planet is on fire, and that sounds like a nuclear war to me.
I mean, there's
Anyways.
this no, go ahead. Sorry, you
I
were
was
in the
gonna say
middle
there
of
was one more
something.
part.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I forgot.
I'm sorry.
Darn it.
Angels and devils fighting is a euphemism for.
Oh, I either feel like it's gonna happen the way the Bible says it, or it's gonna happen the way Interstellar says, where we literally like we grow so much food to support overpopulation on the planet that the soil is no longer good anywhere, and it's releasing nitrogen into the atmosphere, and we're gonna run out of oxygen and suffocate.
Fun fact: we actually breathe mostly nitrogen.
Well, yeah, I just meant like we would run out of breathable
But
air,
yeah, I'm about to say if like the nitrogen content went up so much, that it
or the
wouldn't be-
atmosphere
right.
dissipates or something
Right,
like that.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
There's this quote from Einstein, and it's he said, "I don't know what the third World War will be fought with, but the fourth will be fought with sticks and stones."
Mm-hmm.
And you know, it's just it's fucking crazy that he fucking saw how far that like World War II fucked the earth. That he was like, yeah, if this happens again, we're gonna be fucked.
Well, he also saw, like, the invention of the nuclear bomb. So
Right. He
Yeah.
saw like the process of that happening.
He's
So he was
like-
just like, after I'm long and gone, like if this progresses into something fucking bigger and bigger, like I can only imagine the fucking devastation that would happen to the entire earth.
Which, like, I understand why the bomb was made, but I still don't feel like it was a justified decision.
I 100% agree with you.
Like, I would much rather them, like, because it was, what was it, like the Russians or some shit like that they were...
the Germans were
Oh,
creating
yeah, the Germans.
yeah.
Okay,
a
so...
nuclear bomb, but then the
back.
the Jews in Germany realized that, sent a message to Einstein, who sent a message to
Gotcha.
what's his dick, that was our president back then,
Oh, what's
who
his
was
dick?
then was like,
Wasn't it, like, Eisenhower or...
Sounds good to me.
I don't know,
fucking
but they told Oppenheimer
Truman.
we need a bomb or the Russians are going to destroy us.
I think it was Truman, actually. No,
And so Oppenheimer was like, okay, let me get as much money as I need, a place where I can do it. And so they made it.
The world is
And
just...
that all happened.
The world is just too volatile. Volatile?
Sounds good.
And unpredictable at the moment. Like, I don't know if there's going to be another world war within the next 30 years. And to me, because when I was a kid, I would be like,
Possibility.
I mean, obviously I didn't know a lot about
It's a
politics and
possibility.
shit as a kid, but to me, it seemed like a very far off thing, like that's not going to happen again because we learned our lesson the last time, right?
You'd think so.
But now it's like, I don't know if that would happen in my lifetime or not, and I cannot justify bringing more people into the world not knowing what the future holds. You know what I mean? Like, if I don't know if the world's going to be viable for my child to grow up and live a long, happy life, I don't want one.
I don't think people realize that the Earth could literally fuck us up in seconds at any moment. Like, the
Earth could just be like, all right, I don't want an atmosphere anymore.
The volcano that erupted back in the I think it was in like early 1900s, where it literally covered
the Yosemite volcano, or are you talking about like
it was like so powerful it covered like the whole world in like ash for
Pompeii,
like a week.
You talking about Pompeii?
That was in like
I don't know.
Before the
1900s. Motherfucking goddamn.
That was when they were still referring to years as AD, I'm pretty sure.
I'm gonna say I don't know nothing about history. TT probably know better than I do.
I was about to say I've heard of that story, and they thought that it was snowing, and realized that it was ash. Oh God!
I'm so sorry. God damn it! I blew my fucking brains out. Jesus Christ!
Mount Vesuvius.
Okay?
Bro, I sneezed my fucking pussy out my throat. Jesus Christ!
Vesuvius. You had it right the first time. I just didn't hear.
Holy fuck! Clip it.
It exploded.
Clip it. Oh, I fucking sneezed my pussy out my throat, bro. That shit hurt. What are y'all talking about? Sorry, I missed all that.
Vesuvius was the volcano that erupted
in 1944.
There you go.
I can't breathe.
I got alcohol. It was so powerful.
Need some water.
That was the Earth trying to fucking stop the war. That's.
Oh fuck.
Sorry. Hold up.
36 into 42. I don't know.
World War II. I don't know when it started, but it ended in 45 because Granny was born.
Started
in
like 38 or something like that. I don't fucking know.
Granny
When World War II started, T?
Granny was born like
1940.
Or not the Great Depression. World War II.
I think it's 42.
I don't know. Leave it in the comments.
The Great Depression happened in between the wars, didn't it? Or did it happen after World War II?
No, between the wars.
Okay. Well, I know Granny was born in 47,
I lied.
and she was born right after the war. So.
I lied.
Hit him with the facts.
It was 79 AD, not 1944.
Let's go.
I told you, when they was still referring to the years as AD.
But
when was World War II? Give it a Google real quick.
It was in.
It was in 42.
45.
Was it?
I think it was 42. Yeah.
42
All right.
to 45.
I'll take your word for it.
Could you imagine?
Chill. Fuck.
Could you
imagine
like a world war going on for 3 years?
No.
Like I genuinely feel like that's where a lot of this nation's problems came from, because everyone was just so worried about surviving the war, and like, you know what I'm saying? Like everyone was so hardened from it that they weren't empathetic enough to their children, and it passed that trauma on. And that's why society is like so mean now, because we're just like hardened that way from generational trauma. And then there's other people that aren't that way, you know, either because their parents weren't here during the World War, or they weren't like, you know, they weren't affected by it in some way or another. And so those are like the snowflakes, like the sensitive
Mount
people.
Vesuvius was 100,000 times more powerful than the atomic bomb dropped on Japan.
Jesus Christ!
What were we
You
talking
hear that?
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you say?
What'd he say?
He said Mount Vesuvius was a number of times stronger than
100,000 times stronger than the nuclear bomb dropped on Japan.
That's a lot of fucking.
Speaking of bombs dropped on Japan, that's my favorite scene in Wolverine, if we're talking about it, when the bomb drops and he sees the mushroom cloud go up and like the waves start.
I've never seen Wolverine.
The wave, so they drop the bomb, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wolverine's sitting on, I can't remember if it's like a city street or a beach or some shit like that. He's in this place in Japan. He sees the bomb go off, the mushroom cloud, and sees the wave like leveling the city.
Mm-hmm.
And there's this guy behind him, a soldier, who's about to kill himself because it's considered more honorable than dying by an enemy hand.
Right.
And he just like shoves him into this manhole and like covers him with the manhole cover. And you literally see Wolverine like get hit with this atom bomb wave and like he literally gets like burnt to a
He looks
crisp,
like a
down
nutsack.
to the bone. Like down to the bone, and like the soldier guy has like a circular burn mark on his cheek from the manhole. There's like a hole in the manhole.
Yeah.
And there's like a callback to that later on in the movie where he like meets that soldier again, and the guy is like, it's like scarred onto his face, and the guy's much older, and like Wolverine looks the same, and yeah. But it's a
That sounds
sick ass
pretty
scene.
cool. You know
He like
what?
shoves him into the hole.
You want to know why we dropped 2 bombs on Japan?
Let me know.
We dropped 2 bombs because the first bomb when we dropped the first bomb, we asked if they would give up, and they said no, and so we dropped the second one. We were like, "Fuck you, we'll do it again, motherfucker." We had a third one ready.
If there's one thing about not ancient Japan, but like older Japanese people, they will die before they give up their honor.
We had a third one ready if they declined to.
Dishonor on you, dishonor on your cow.
Oh my fucking god! All right, we're gonna hop into.
I was about to say we got way off topic.
I'm about to
there.
say
Anyway.
we're gonna hop into TT's talks before we hit y'all with the goodbye real quick. So, if y'all don't know about TT's talks, TT is notorious for sending me just the most random fried shit at any hour of the night. So, first up.
You need to give him what I sent you in the text message too.
What the fuck is happening? Is it a voiceover or
No,
is it that man?
it's the guy. He's just really old and can't see. He's just making grunting noises with his please. I sent a message to
Y'all are going
Jaylen.
to hell.
I sent a message to Jaylen after that saying that was him in the bathroom taking a shit.
That's me on the toilet, bro.
Y'all are going to hell for laughing at this old man. He's just trying to have a good time. That poor guy. He probably fought for y'all's right to be here. Goddamn.
If you
Y'all
don't want
are wrong.
if you don't want people to make fun of you,
Welcome
don't
to
put
the
it on
Two-Tone
this.
Podcast.
We got 3 more after that, but actually 4.
I'm fucking crying, bro. All right, next up on the docket. I don't know if y'all can read this. It says, me when management says I'm
This was
skating.
me with my fucking boss yesterday.
It says me when management says I'm skating on thin ice.
Me.
All right, I'll try and put these in post so y'all can see them a little better. Oh fuck! I just figured I'd give y'all a little bit of the enjoyment that I get to experience every week. Just at the
A little bit of the tism.
at 2:00 in the morning. Oh fuck! I'm sorry, y'all. Oh shit! I had to put this in post. It's got fucking. Oh, it's just got fuck ass audio. I ain't gonna put that on there. I'll just put it in post. It's like I'll put it in as a GIF. Can y'all read it? It says when she finally sends you the nudes. I'll send you. I'll just put it in post to make your life a little easier. All right, almost. All right, second to the last one. Oh my fucking god, this is me as fuck at work.
I work better with music. Me working with music.
That is absolutely me and Hope. Like on closing shifts, that's us, bro.
Theo sent me that and he said that's you as fuck. I said I can't even fucking lie, bro. You about right. When I'm in the store alone, bro, it's anybody's
I
guess
love how
what
the
happens.
Instagram links say IG shit right in the middle. You see what I'm saying?
Bro, Instagram, what are you doing? Oh, Lord, let's see what this fuck shit is. Oh, Lord.
I'm just kidding, where else I'd be attend. I'm just Pete and I like drugs. I'm mentally ill and I'm on drugs.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
You gotta show him the one that I just sent you.
The one that you just sent me. Which one did you just send me? Oh, Lord, you like just sent it to me. Oh, I can't even fucking vet it.
That's lightning as fuck.
So you've chosen death.
Oh my god. I'll have to go back and put these in post, but what was the thing I did in the beginning that was good? Oh, what was the one in the beginning? Oh, the fucking
Oh, the walrus one? Or the seal one?
The seal one.
Yeah, the one with where it was like the song from Madagascar when the
Oh, I know
that
which one you're talking about. Let's see if I can pull it up real quick. Oh, fuck. Oh, Lord, sorry. All right. Which camera do you want this?
Why do they look like you?
That's what, did you read the message?
No, I didn't.
No, read the message.
He said that's him looking at me when a hot girl walk into work. Oh, fucking deceased.
Why he looking at you?
Because
I'm just
TT out there playing the
I'm
field in his brain. He said, if
He
I
said,
didn't
"Damn,
have the
if I
tism,
could
bro.
talk to people I don't know, I would talk to that bitch."
So true. Straight
He
facts.
said, "I would say some shit if I knew how to talk."
I'm going to bed, bro. This has been the Two Tone Podcast. Thank you. Sam's at the side. We getting too close to. Am I too close to the mic? Is it just like? Can you hear me? All right. Thank you for watching. This has been the Two Tone Podcast. Glass House Films 8 on YouTube and Instagram. Linktree.com/JAK Productions. Fuck with us. Be safe.